Hello and welcome to the Telegraph post-PMQs review. Today, Brexit dominated in the chamber as Theresa May had a reminder from the very beginning that Tory Brexiteer anger remained over her deal.
That I agree with the people of Romford, who are deeply unhappy by the proposed EU deal, which they believe does not represent the Brexit they voted for. Will she now, even at this late stage, please think again and instead lead our country in a new direction, completely cutting away the tentacles of the EU over our cherished island nation once and for all.
And indeed, Andrew Rossendale's call for Theresa May to cut the tentacles of the EU off the country for good showed that the Prime Minister is going to have to make sure in the future relationship agreement, which is still being agreed, that the language is robust enough to be reassuring. Very much for her case, the devil will be in the detail. And indeed, the Red Devil, Jeremy Corbyn, was asking questions on Brexit, which is a very refreshing change from him.
Does the Prime Minister agree there are no circumstances under which Britain would leave with no deal? Is this the final deal or not? Can the Prime Minister clarify whether last week's withdrawal agreement is the final text or is there another text that's on its way to us?
Did we actually see the Labour leader taking the Prime Minister to task?
If you look at the alternative to having that deal with the European Union, it will either be more uncertainty, more division, or it could risk no Brexit at all.
That was trying to remind Brexiteers why they should be staying sweet and wanting to back a deal. At the same point, why Remainers should be holding their nose, backing the deal the same way to avoid what they would view as the worst nightmare, a no-deal Brexit. This, of course, had been somewhat marred by Amber Rudd this morning, who suggested it was just a case that no deal would not happen at all, and that it was just a case of no Brexit or the deal, which obviously Remainers would not hesitate to choose which they would prefer. And so this was some urgent message clarification from the PM. At the same time, the Prime Minister sought to turn her fire on the messages coming out of the Labour Party, because very much they have been trying to have their cake and eat it, and so Mrs May sought to call them out on it.
Talk about a second referendum. Never mind a second referendum. He hasn't got a first clue.
And in saying that it doesn't matter if they want a second referendum, they don't even have a clue, Mrs May is seeking to show that they have different messages for Leavers and Remainers alike, which is rather ironic, given that you could well say the same about Theresa May in her efforts to sell the negotiating deal through Parliament.